from top to bottom, focusing on this infrastructure, making sure it's, affordable, flexible, easy, and focused on the Hedera network.
Brandon, it's been a little while. Welcome, buddy.
It has been. What a year in Hedera so far. And I mean, it's been great watching the show, the Charles clips, Shark Bites. I mean, it's how I stay updated, so I appreciate it.
I'm having fun with it, and that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a one-stop shop so people can check things out. But being able to get people like Eric Balchunas from Bloomberg on,
I
and
know.
Charles, and of course every week I get to talk to Rob. These conversations are a blast.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's great watching the show grow and the community support and everything. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. So the reason why I wanted to get you on is because yesterday I was just talking to Brady from Bonzo, and he was talking about how they're using some of your services and how he's happy with what he's seeing. But before we get into that, can you just explain what Hgraph is?
Absolutely. So Hgraph is a trusted tech partner in the Hedera ecosystem and beyond. We work with a lot of great clients and partners and customers to do exactly what Brady described, but then also all sorts of other things like custom software and applications. But really what I think the Hedera ecosystem is most interested in the fact that Hgraph's been here for a long time. And we really have roots in the retail ecosystem, but have expanded to enterprise. And I think that at the center of all that is our focus on mirror nodes, data tooling, and just the connection with the community.
So, I think of it because you guys have kind of grown up with us. You've been in the community, and I
Yeah,
think of you, working with these real retail partners. But are you getting traction with those enterprises?
absolutely. Yeah, we work with really great partners. I mean, we work with Hashgraph, we work with the HBAR Foundation, we work with the Hashgraph Association on a variety of interesting projects. We have some other stuff in the hoppers we can't talk about yet, but there's always really interesting things happening. And when I say enterprise, there are certain startups or government included in that as well. Enterprise covers a big spectrum, and as we venture more into that, we're going to have a lot more detail, but it's an exciting space.
Good stuff. All right. So now I want to get into what prompted me to invite you
Right.
guys back on. I had that conversation with Brady. He was saying that they switched over from using the Hedera supplied mirror node, which covers, all of the data that's being captured by Hedera, to your mirror node. And you could tell he was surprised at the improvements that he actually saw. And he was, very complimentary of what you guys are doing. Can you explain why they saw those efficiency gains?
Absolutely. And it's really about understanding the data landscape on Hedera. And when I started at Hgraph, it was back in February last year. So I've been at Hgraph, it's just a couple days into my second year here. And learning about what I call and what I've kind of referred to before as the other half of the Hedera network. And this was such an important thing because as we see on the Hedera network, a lot of problems we've experienced have been around how we can retrieve data in the forms of what insights can we get, what analytics can we do, but also how fast can we get this information. And I mean, this year or last year, Tyler and I at Hgraph, our CEO, I mean, we've been focused on growing the team, doing a bunch of exciting stuff like we're talking about. But now it's very exciting to be expanding this and kind of unleashing this on the Hedera network. And so, to your question, like, how does Hgraph bring more speed and stability to the Hedera ecosystem? It's about that other half of the network. And how I look at it is in the space and on your show and in most places, everybody talks about how all the cool stuff we're putting into the network, right? But we don't often talk about like, well, how do we get that stuff out? How do we know what's going on? And that's been a big challenge. And when I started at Hgraph and really diving into this stuff, and Tyler's just doing incredible work in the team there. No one really knew a lot about mirror nodes or why they were important, but yet the community was experiencing a lot of different issues with maybe it's an NFT mint or something like that. And so for us, what it was really about is just illustrating the fact that there's this one side of the network that's the right side putting stuff in. It's like working out an arm. And you got the data side, and we haven't really been working it out. And we really need to build that strength. And it's really that simple. And so over the last year, we've seen that. And now we're starting to see the results of that. And not to say like there are great providers in the data space on Hedera. Hgraph is just, I think, really fortunate to have that close relationship with so many of these community developers. And I think that's something that really excites me about the Hedera 2.0 initiative is because that's really what it's about. And so what we've experienced and kind of what the situation has been for a long time is the solutions have been difficult or expensive. and uncompromising, right? Hedera is a little bit of a unique beast, especially when it comes to data. So HGraph, our focus is really about being easy, affordable, and flexible. And this is what people are talking about. And so focus on a few things. So in regards to kind of like taking Hedera first and really focusing on the bleeding edge features of the Hedera network, we have customers like Kabila who are developing whole NFT marketplaces, tooling, their wallet, all these things that are like very advanced features that require the latest and greatest from the Hedera network. And we're always focused on being on the bleeding edge of that. There's so many exciting things like block nodes and block streams. On the data scalability side, we host a lot of software and do a lot of work with the Hashgraph online group with their hashinals and all sorts of data standards, and a lot of exciting stuff that, again, I can't talk about. But that's another thing is about the data scalability, just literally the amount of hard drives and data we're going to have to store on this network. There also is something unique and interesting about Hgraph, which is we provide a GraphQL API. And this is a little technical, but generally people receive data from the Hedera network through what's called a REST API. And a lot of developers will be familiar with that. And then there's the GraphQL API. And really the difference is almost the REST API is like a fixed restaurant menu where you can choose a set amount of meals with no substitutions. And so sometimes that can make it difficult to have an efficient application. You're retrieving too much data or not enough. So you're having to do all sorts of work on your side to make that work. Whereas a GraphQL API to get data is almost like an a la carte menu. It's like, I need this, that, and this. Whether it's a ton or a tiny amount, you can get whatever you want. So that's specifically, I think, us offering that unique feature is a huge component of kind of what Bonzo and other customers talk about. And then it just comes down to the speed, right? And that's what Bonzo was touching on. And with that GraphQL API, Hashpack was able to refactor a lot of their wallet to just make the application so much faster using that. And that's kind of what Bonzo is realizing as well is with these new tools and taking that Hedera first approach, the first class approach, it's like, there's so much more that you can do. And it's going to be really exciting to see all these other projects start to be able to unleash more of these capabilities. But I think what people are most interested in is kind of, well, what's actually the secret sauce for all this stuff? And on one side, it is kind of what I spoke about. It's just that close relationship with builders. You can't build those solutions if you don't understand the problems. But also, a big topic in the data side of stuff is the cloud and how expensive it is, right? And Google Cloud and AWS and all the different considerations you have to make. And one thing that I love about this company, about Hgraph, is we own and operate our own hardware infrastructure. So not only does that give us greater levels of control of how we optimize this data and make it available for people, but it also allows us to easily build our own custom software on top of it, doing things like providing the GraphQL API and all these different types of optimizations. So that's really where the difference lies for us is from top to bottom, focusing on this infrastructure, making sure it's, affordable, flexible, easy, and focused on the Hedera network. And then just really quickly, it all kind of comes together when we talk about enterprise and some of the more specialized deployments that we're doing and very complex data pipelines that some of these organizations need. And like I mentioned, we're working with, some of the top in the ecosystem, like the HBAR Foundation, the Hashgraph Association, and Hashgraph themselves. And we're exploring all sorts of other things like AI and other blockchains and data, other future tech spaces. And it just is this great feedback loop because a lot of the work that we do to help our customers helps these enterprises. And a lot of the work we do that helps these enterprises, we can bring back and provide these features for our customers. So we're just really excited that this industry, there's movement happening. And yeah, I just couldn't be more excited. But that's a little bit behind the curtain and about why folks are excited about these new opportunities with data on Hedera.
Absolutely. So, Brandon, one of the things when I think about a distributed ledger, I think about, an Excel spreadsheet, right? A regular ledger,
Mm-hmm.
and all of the rows there are the who, right? Those are the account numbers. They could be individuals, they could be businesses, and then the columns are the what. It could be a JPEG, it could be the HBAR, it could be stocks, bonds, whatever it may be. But one of those columns could be just data, right? Information. And
Yeah.
that's what we talk about when we talk about the Hedera consensus service or provenance of data, all the different things that you were going over there a minute ago. Why is Hedera well set up to become that trust layer of data, provenance of data? I know that, querying on Hedera is a lot easier, but why is that? Why is Hedera set up well for logging that data?
I think that there's two things. I think that one, it's just technical, right? We all know about how efficient the hash graph algorithm is. And also, two, the fact that we've had use cases like Atma.io that generate so much data. So it's a technical efficiency thing, but also it's a bit of a battle tested thing where if we've got dozens and dozens of terabytes from these Atma.io transactions, that's a difficult thing to pull off. But Hgraph's managed to do that. And this network is going to generate so much more data, and I think that there's that current technical advantage, but I think that most interestingly, and I don't know if you've had Richard Bear on your show talking about block nodes and block streams. It's just, I think you actually have, it's fascinating. And I've had time speaking with him and their team. And it's just those kinds of things when we talk about a data economy and we talk about the intersections of AI and DLT and possible marketplaces, how all these different types of things come together. And it's about what standards and methodologies are we playing with? Because you can have heaps and heaps of data, but if nobody's on the same page, you can't do anything with it. And so I think the other side to this equation that's often overlooked is the human side of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we coming to consensus on standards for these types of things? Sure, we've got enterprises that have preset things or consortiums, but if we look at something like Hashgraph Online that is a grassroots Web3 DAO focusing on this tooling, I think that the tight-knit aspect of our community, that's the other side of it, is what do we do with this data? What are the standards? Can we make the rules this time around? So it's on all sorts of different fronts. I'm really excited about it. But I think that's what separates Hedera apart, right? Tight-knit communication and just the technical efficiency of the network.
Sure. All right. So I want to ask about any other products that you have that you want to focus on, or anything that we haven't covered already.
Right. So I'm very excited to talk about this stuff. I know I've been teasing it quite a bit. We have some very exciting stuff coming. We have a new website, hgraph.com. It details a lot of this. And currently, we're offering, I think, some of the best plans that you can get and access to data on the Hedera network. That's really affordable. Our plans start at $18 a month. And you can get access to, like I mentioned, the Graphql API and the REST API with all sorts of other different features. And we've got a variety of different plans. We want to make this easy and affordable for people. And so we're offering those services that we've always provided. We're just making it easier. And some stuff we have coming that's going to do that even further is a new account dashboard that's going to be self-serve. So you can log in very easily through a variety of different methods. And you can just see your usage, sign up for a plan, get accessing the Hedera network data in a way that is easy. We're going to have a developer playground so you can start playing around with GraphQL, a schema explorer. And one of the most requested things that we've got from the ecosystem is the JSON RPC relay. If we look at EVM equivalence, especially with the work we're doing with Wallet Connect and Reown, that is going to be so important because that's how people using MetaMask and outside Hedera are going to be able to communicate and use dApps inside the network. So the JSON RPC relay is so important. And I'm really excited we're going to have that coming very soon. So if there's anybody out there that wants to test that, reach out to us. And we're also going to have free accounts coming. Once the account dashboard is live, you're going to be able to get a free account, 45,000 calls for free. That means you can call our APIs every minute if you want to and just have some kind of app and start exploring. And that's basically, that's what's going on. It's on the website, and we're just really excited to get it out there.
All right. Well, I love what you guys have been doing to this point. And once you start to hear other businesses singing your praises, you know you're on the right track. But Brandon, thanks for coming on here today and explaining it to us. And we'll see you at HederaCon.
Right on. Yeah, I'm going to be at HederaCon. I'll see everybody. And if you are building something cool, reach out to Hgraph.
I'm now posting these interviews of Hedera builders independently to my channel. The community, influencers, and media outlets are free to use this content to spread the word on what's being built on Hedera. Once they're all uploaded, you'll be able to go to my channel and search for whatever topic or team you're interested in to find more information. Or you'll be able to get the most recent Hedera news by watching the latest HBAR weekly update. So check them out.